Take a look at that beautiful shot of Bryant-Denny Stadium, and it begs the question, why didn't we just give Richard the morning off?
Yeah, I tell you.
I mean, perfect is the weather. I mean, I don't know what you can add to that, Richard, but we're going to let you try.
Hey, John and Gary, tell you what, absolutely beautiful Saturday morning. Lots of sunshine, low humidity, a little breeze out of the south, but still not bad overall. Let's take you back to that tower camera and show you what's happening right now. And we're looking at Bryant-Denny Stadium on a sunny Saturday morning, perfect football conditions. It's going to be a little warm this afternoon, and right now we're at 53 degrees in Tuscaloosa out at the airport. Sunny skies obviously in place, and that dew point, still dry air. It's not going to be a muggy day at all. That east wind around 3 miles per hour, pressure is steady. Elsewhere temperature-wise, hey, it's a warm morning. Many of us in the 50s. Check out Birmingham and Coleman, 57 degrees, 48 down to Demopolis. But if you're getting up early with us this morning, many of us are enjoying some warm temperatures. Now, across the southeast, things are beginning to kind of change for us. We're watching things back towards the west. You notice showers and storms happening back in western Mississippi along the Mississippi River, but you see the surface high very close to us over Georgia. That's going to kind of protect us from all this rain that's moving in our direction. So as we go through the evening hours, we are going to keep a close eye on things. These showers, they try to make it into West Alabama around sunset. As they run into that surface high, they're just going to fall apart this evening. So we're not expecting a good rain chance for the game, which is great news for us, but it will be a mild afternoon. Let's show you the quick cast today. Temperatures warming to around 60 degrees by 10 o'clock, and a few more clouds do move in as that cold front gets closer to north and west Alabama. By 3 o'clock, skies become partly cloudy, around 70 at lunchtime, and as we go towards 3 o'clock this afternoon, temperatures approach 74 degrees. Again, John and Gary, not a bad forecast for us. Again, lots of sun. But a little bit later on in the show, we're going to take you around the SEC and show you more games, how the forecast is going to shape up. John and Gary.
All right, thank you, Richard. And before we move on to our next guest, I want to just make something clear real quick. He actually works for Mississippi State University, is kind of limited in what he could say about the Cam Newton situation. So that being said, we're not going to ask him about that. We don't want to put him in a difficult position.
We're going to keep it to on the field matters. And
yeah.
with that, we say good morning to Bart Gregory, who is the Mississippi State Assistant Athletics Director for Development. He also hosts the pre- and post-game shows for the Bulldogs. Good morning, Bart.
Morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing great. It is gorgeous here, and as I'm sure it is in Starkville, and it's going to be a great night for the ball game.
It really will, guys, and it's something we're looking forward to, and looking forward to getting back on the field. It's been a tough couple of weeks. You know, we had an off week last week, and a team that really needed a break, but you know, we had a tough situation last week, and of course everything going around the college football world this week. It's finally game day. You get to put everything behind you and strap it on and play a football game.
Indeed, and we're going to talk more about the tragedy involving Nick Bell in just a moment. But first, this season, Mississippi State didn't start out in the top 25, Bart, but you're there now. You've got the same record as Alabama at 7-2. Yeah, you really had a good year and a chance to make a great year.
Well, we really do, and you know, it's been a year where we haven't been really turning over the football, especially over the last 4 games. We haven't turned the football over offensively, and really that was one of the things in the first 3 games of the year that we did a lot of, was turn the football over, especially against LSU. 5 interceptions down at Tiger Stadium. Came back the following week against Georgia, and really got things going. The thing that we've been doing is winning, and winning ugly. And but hey, wins are wins. And when you look at this team, I mean, we really haven't been throwing the ball that well. Chris Ralph, when you look back at the last 2 games last year, he had a 7-game streak where he was completing 61% of his passes. But, you know, over the last 4 games, he's completing just 44%. Just relying on the running backs. Vic Ballard, a junior college transfer, has been very good. Chris Ralph, a guy that has been running the ball very well. This is a ball control offense and an opportunistic defense, and it's been winning old-style, ugly football games and low-scoring football games.
Well, Bart, that being said, winning ugly, one game that you won that wasn't pretty was the Florida game, but nevertheless, it was a win. It was a big win for Dan Mullen. In the media, we often talk about signature wins. Is this Dan Mullen's signature win so far at Mississippi State?
Well, I would think you'd have to say yes. It was probably the game that really meant a lot to Dan. First of all, personally, spending some time with Urban Meyer, and you know that's who really he learned from, is Urban Meyer, and then to go down to Florida, play in Gainesville. You know, the thing that we've been able to do is score early in games. We've outscored our opponents 85-27 in the first quarter. When we jumped on Florida early, and took an early 10-0 lead in the game, and really took the air out of the football. I mean, it was one of those games where you just hold on for dear life after you take that 10-0 lead. But yeah, that was a signature win for Dan. It was one of those situations, and it was very interesting in the locker room after the game when he told the team, guys, I told you could win. That's the thing about Mississippi State. That's the thing about that you guys have heard forever is you can't win the big game. You can't go in to a sold-out stadium in a hostile environment and win. And, guys, it's all about showing yourself you can win, and that's what we did. And I think the kids really jumped on right then. We got a very young football team. It's a lot like Alabama, especially on defense. We've got a very, very young football team, and just trying to change the culture is what Dan Mullen's trying to do. And he's beginning to get through to those 18 and 19-year-olds.
Finally, Bart, we've only got about 45 seconds left, but unfortunately there's no template that you use when you have an untimely death like is the case with Nick Bell from nearby Bessemer, Alabama. Great young man by all accounts. Thankfully, the Bulldogs didn't play last weekend. My question is this: you're trying to grieve, and at the same time, you're trying to prepare for a football game. How has the team moved on, and dealt with that, and at the same time prepared to play Alabama?
Well, it's an unknown right now. It's like I said, it's a young football team physically, but a young team emotionally. Charles Mitchell, who was his roommate, who was a tremendous safety, is going to wear his jersey today. He's going to wear 36 today, and it's really been an emotional, trying time. Last week was very tough. Nick was a tremendous kid. I mean, he was a prototypical student athlete, always had a smile on his face, and so we're going to see in a little while just how this team responds. Really, just don't know right now.
Bart, we appreciate the time, and safe travels on your way to Starkville today.
Thanks, Gary.
Or from Starkville to Tuscaloosa.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Bart.
And coming up later on in the program, the sports editor of the Tuscaloosa News, Tommy Dees, will join us to discuss tonight's big ball game.
But up next, it's time to go around the SEC. We call it our SEC Roundup. The East will be decided tonight in Gainesville. Will the old ball coach have what it takes to mount an upset in his old stomping ground, or is it just an urban legend? Stick around. Welcome back to Crimson Tide Kickoff. With all the off-field issues surrounding the Auburn Tigers this week, you might have actually forgotten they could win the SEC West tonight.
They could.
They could.
But it won't be given to them. They've got to beat the Georgia Bulldogs first, and Georgia's won 4 in a row in the series. The Deep South's oldest rivalry begins our SEC Roundup. The Dogs and Tigers will battle at 2:30 this afternoon at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Talk about keeping it close. Auburn only leads the overall series by 1 game. But that's not the historical fact that has Mark Richt talking about an upset.
It's also a game where, for some reason, the visiting team has had more success than the home team. And I hope that trend continues.
Meanwhile, the SEC East will definitely be decided tonight in Gainesville. That's where the Gamecocks and Gators meet with the division on the line. Keep in mind, though, South Carolina has never made it to the SEC championship game, nor have they ever won in the Swamp. Florida coach Urban Meyer is hoping the home field advantage is, in fact, an advantage again.
We have the best home field advantage in America. Let's use it to a maximum, and unless people got something else to do, I'd love to see a couple 100,000 people here packed outside, inside, wherever it is, and have a lot of fun with this one, because our guys are going to play really hard, really hard.
And finally, Nick Saban prefers Little Debbie's, Les Miles. He likes grass. This was the scene last week against Alabama. Miles says he's been eating grass since he was a child, and that he's discovered, having to play on some artificial turf fields as well, that there's nothing like the real thing.
Yes. So I'm just curious, what do you do when you play on synthetic turf?
It's not nearly as tasty. Yeah, I can tell you right now, you might try it. It's not a bad deal. I suspect it's better than chewing tobacco and some other things that people put in their mouth.
Well, here's the lineup for the SEC today. At 11 a.m., Ole Miss and Tennessee today, battling, I guess, for the worst team in the SEC. Then Vanderbilt at Kentucky at 11:21, Georgia at Auburn 2:30, UTEP Arkansas 6, as is Louisiana Monroe at LSU, Mississippi State Alabama 6:15 airtime, 6:21 kickoff, South Carolina at Florida also scheduled for 6:15 this evening. Now for a look at the weather around the SEC, we bring in Richard Scott.
Hey, John, 2 big games happening here in the state of Alabama. We got Alabama and Mississippi State and Georgia in Auburn. Let's talk about the forecast down in Lee County in Auburn. We're talking temperatures very nice, 70 degrees at kickoff. 2:30, we're talking temperatures around 70, lots of sunshine. As we end the game, temperatures do fall in the mid-60s, but still overall a good game over in Lee County. Now we'll take you to Tennessee. Ole Miss playing in Tennessee. Temperatures approach 62 degrees at kickoff, 11 o'clock this morning. Now that's 11 o'clock Central Time. Eastern Time is a noontime game. Sunny skies around. A few more clouds roll in later in the day as we end the game around 69 degrees, close to 70 during the day. Now as we go towards Florida down in Gainesville, we've got South Carolina heading towards Gainesville. It's going to be a nice night. Temperatures do cool off into the 50s as we end the game around halftime, 59 degrees, ending about 56 degrees, clear skies in place. And John and Gary, coming up a little bit later on, we've got the all-important kickoff forecast, and I'm promising some good news for that. John and Gary, back to you guys.
All right, Richard, coming up later in the program, we know him often on television. He's talking about bedroom suits and sofas and love seats. But today, Shane Spiller from Spiller Furniture will be breaking down SEC football games. He'll be our guest prognosticator.
But up next, 2 losses for the Tide this season. Not all is lost, but not all is right either. The Tuscaloosa News sports editor Tommy Dees will join us and give us his take on what went wrong last weekend and what has to happen to make things go right tonight. You're watching Crimson Tide Kickoff.